Hey man, the game with women is rigged, but not in the way you think. You've been lied to, misled, and conditioned to believe that being nice, showing affection, and proving your loyalty earns you love. But the brutally honest truth, that's not how women work. If you want an unfair advantage with women, if you want to move through life with them orbiting around you like you're the sun, they need to feel something deeper than admiration. They need to feel your power, and that starts with knowing what most men will never admit. Attraction is not about what you give, it's about what you withhold. First, brutal truth. Women don't want a man who makes them feel safe all the time. They want a man who makes them feel safe in his presence, but whose absence creates a little chaos. If you're always available, always texting, always proving yourself, you become predictable, and predictability kills desire. But the man who disappears to work on his mission, who doesn't flinch when she's moody, who doesn't need to talk every hour to feel secure, that man stays on her mind, not because he said the right thing, but because she feels his strength when he says nothing. Here's the second truth that gives you the edge. Women don't fall for the best man. They fall for the man who makes them feel the most. You could be better looking, wealthier, kinder, and still lose her to a guy who triggers her emotions. Why? Because logic is not her love language. Emotional stimulation is. Women remember how you made them feel, not how many nice things you did. So if your energy doesn't create emotional movement, mystery, tension, unpredictability, she'll get bored. But the guy who keeps her guessing, who keeps her chasing, he's unforgettable. Third truth, the more you invest in a woman emotionally before she's invested in you, the more you lose. See, most men front load the relationship. They fall in love with her potential. They start doing too much, too fast, thinking it'll win her over. But that energy reeks of neediness, and women smell it instantly. She wants to earn your attention. She wants to feel like your presence is rare, not guaranteed. When she has to work for your attention, it holds more value. That's when obsession begins, not when you pour, but when you pull back. Here's another one that hurts. Women don't trust words, they trust patterns. You can say, I love you, I'll change, I'm different, but none of that matters if your actions don't match. And most men expose themselves through inconsistency. One day strong, next day emotional. One day confident, next day chasing. But the man who holds his frame, no matter what, that man becomes her anchor. He doesn't have to talk her into staying. His consistency is his seduction. His silence is more powerful than another man's poetry. Brutal truth. Number 5. The more emotionally available you are before she's earned it, the faster she will lose attraction. Not because she's evil, but because she hasn't had time to feel the weight of your presence. If you open up too early, you collapse the tension. You hand her the power before she knows how to hold it. That's why the most desired men seem mysterious. Their silence creates curiosity. Their slow reveal creates obsession, and their restraint drives her wild, because she can't figure him out. And what she can't figure out, she can't stop thinking about. Women test men, constantly. But here's the truth, the tests never end, and they get harder the more she cares. You think she's being difficult, but really she's trying to feel your strength. She wants to know, can he lead me? Can he hold me in my chaos? Will he fold when I'm emotional? Every test is a question. Are you who you say you are? And if you react emotionally, over-explain, beg for peace, you fail. But if you stay calm, grounded, slightly amused, you win. Because she'll know, this man won't crumble beneath me. Truth number 7. Your silence is more seductive than any compliment you could ever give. Most men talk too much. They flatter, they explain, they overshare. But a grounded man knows his silence is powerful. It forces her to fill in the blanks. It allows her imagination to create meaning. And when she can project onto you, she gets emotionally invested. She wonders what you're thinking. She checks her phone more. She replays your last sentence. And all of that is attraction being built without you doing anything. Here's a cruel one. Women often confuse emotional intensity with love. The guy who makes her feel crazy, anxious, uncertain, he often gets chosen over the nice guy who was calm and stable. Why? Because he creates movement, drama, tension, and that triggers chemical highs. But if you can be the one who provides emotional intensity without losing composure, without becoming chaotic yourself, you become the one she's addicted to, but also respects. You're the high that doesn't burn her. That's a rare and unfair advantage. Truth 10. Detachment is the foundation of true attraction. The more you need her to feel okay, the more unattractive you become. The more you need her to validate you, the more she withdraws. But when you're detached, when her moods, her games, her tests don't shake your peace, you become the prize. You stop auditioning, you start leading, and she feels it, not in your words, but in your presence. And when she realizes she can't control you emotionally, that's when she starts craving you mentally. Brutal truth number 11. Women want a man they can feel, not control. She may say she wants a guy who listens, obeys, and agrees, but watch what she does, not what she says. If she can control your mood, your plans, your priorities, she loses interest. Fast. She doesn't want a servant. She wants a man whose world she can enter, not rearrange. The moment she senses that she can steer your ship, she'll subconsciously start looking for another captain. It's not about dominance, it's about security. She feels safest when she knows you won't fold. Women fall in love in your absence, not your presence. When you're with her, she's caught in the moment. But when you're not there, that's when she processes. That's when she replays your tone, your scent, your mystery. That's when she scrolls through old texts and wonders why you haven't reached out yet. And that's why always being available kills attraction. You have to let the space between meetings do the seduction. It's in that space that her feelings grow, not from constant reassurance, but from uncertainty, distance, and desire. Truth number 13. You train a woman how to treat you in the first 30 days. Every boundary you fail to set, every disrespect you let slide, every moment you over-explain or seek approval, that all becomes the standard. She won't raise the bar later, she'll only push it further. But when you're firm from the beginning, calm, clear, grounded, she calibrates to your leadership, and if she doesn't like it, she leaves. And that's a blessing, because it saves you from building with someone who would have just chipped away at your power slowly. Women don't care what you drive. If you carry yourself like a man who could own everything in the room, your energy is your first flex. You could walk into a room wearing a plain shirt, worn shoes, and no jewelry, but if your posture, eye contact, and silence are firm, you own that space. Women don't remember the label on your clothes. They remember the feeling you gave them. Were they safe or thrilled? Did they feel small or seen? Did you walk in seeking validation or radiating purpose? That's the real currency. Here's one most men never see coming. If you let her lead emotionally, she'll eventually despise you for it. She might enjoy it at first, being in control, making the plans, setting the tone, but deep down, it makes her feel unsafe, because now she has to be the man. And nothing dries up attraction faster than a man who needs her to be the guide. She might stay with you, she might sleep with you, but she will never respect you. And without respect, love dies a slow, quiet death. A woman will subconsciously test your worth by giving you less and seeing how you respond. Less affection, less time, less consistency. And most guys, they panic, they overcompensate, they give more, but that imbalance reveals everything. If you accept crumbs, she knows you don't value yourself. But if you withdraw, recalibrate, and let her feel your absence, she's forced to self-correct or leave. Either outcome protects your self-worth. Remember, her energy should be matched, not worshipped. The man who's too emotionally expressive, too early, gets put in the friend zone. Not because women hate emotions, but because they haven't earned access to yours yet. Mystery creates intrigue. Intrigue creates investment. And investment creates attraction. So when you unload your entire emotional world in the first week, you remove the chase, you hand her the gift before she's ready to unwrap it. A wise man opens up in layers, not to hide but to pace. That pacing is what keeps her emotionally hooked. Women are not drawn to men who understand them. They're drawn to men who make them understand themselves better in his presence. She wants to feel seen, but not in a clinical way. She wants to feel expanded, guided, mirrored, and only a grounded man who's done his own internal work can hold that kind of presence. You want an unfair advantage? Become the man whose stillness unlocks parts of her she didn't even know were there. She won't be able to walk away, not because you tricked her, but because she felt more alive around you than anywhere else. You don't win a woman's respect by loving her harder. You win it by loving yourself louder. The man who chooses peace over arguments, discipline over comfort, mission over romance, That man doesn't have to convince anyone to stay, because his life is already so full, so aligned, so powerful that she starts adjusting to keep up, not out of fear, but admiration. And that admiration, that's what creates loyalty, not just attraction. Every time you try to prove your value, you broadcast that you don't believe you already have it. The man who constantly reminds her how different he is, how much he does, how good his intentions are, he thinks he's being clear, but to her, it's a red flag. Because high-value men don't perform, they demonstrate through consistency, through standards, through stillness. You want to stand out? Stop announcing, start embodying. The real ones don't convince, they exist. A woman will forgive you being too cold. She will not forgive you being too weak. You can take time, you can pull back, you can go silent. If your energy is grounded and non-needy, she'll miss you. But the moment you get emotional, reactive, clingy, that image of you she respected cracks. You can be mysterious, you can even be distant, but don't be spineless. That kills desire, not temporarily, sometimes forever. You want to dominate her mind? Dominate your own first. You don't need to manipulate, lie, or play games. You just need to master yourself, your focus, your emotions, your habits. When you operate from purpose, from calm, from discipline, your energy enters a room before you do, and every woman there can feel it. You become the rare man in a world of boys reacting to every impulse. That makes you unforgettable. Most men think women fall for the man who gives the most, but they actually fall for the man who takes the least and gives intentionally. When she sees that your time, energy, and affection are earned, not handed out like candy, she respects it, because now you're not just another guy trying to win her. You're the man who knows his own value, and that makes her value you too. Never let a woman feel that her approval controls your reality. If her opinion can shift your mood, your direction, or your identity, you've already lost. You don't need to be cold, but you must be indifferent to external validation. Because when she realizes your happiness is sourced internally, that's when she stops testing you. That's when she starts respecting you. Not because you demanded it, but because you earned it through detachment and discipline. The ultimate unfair advantage isn't money, looks, or status. It's emotional sovereignty. The man who doesn't chase, who doesn't fold, who doesn't need, he becomes the gravitational pull. Women don't just want him, they adjust their entire behavior for him. Because they know this man doesn't need anyone, he chooses. And when he chooses you, that choice carries weight, because it's rare, scarce, valuable. And in a world full of weak men trying to impress, you become the storm she can't escape, even if she wanted to.